Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Chris Kidd of Chris Kidd Enterprises. He's here. He's on the show. He's a regular on the program, and we love to talk about what's happening in the business world, financial world, and the entertainment and sports world as it relates to money. That's what we talk about. We've been doing it for quite some time. And here we are at the end of the year. I thought it'd be kind of a cool time to reflect a little bit on some of your favorite shows that we've done over the last year. Man, there's been so many. And I have to say that the highlight of so many of my programs over the year have been shows we've done with you.
Yeah, we've had some really good ones. It's tough to narrow it down, but goodness, we've had several pro athletes. We've had entertainers. We had one of my favorites. I was just looking up earlier when we were talking about this was Coach Joe Moglia from Coastal Carolina University, who had an amazing story about he ended up, he was, make it short, he was coaching and then wasn't making enough money and ended up going into the finance world and became after a while became CEO and chairman of TD Ameritrade, stayed there for several years, built that company up, and then stepped down as CEO, remained chairman, got a phone call and said, "Hey, would you be interested in coaching a football team?" And he got to go back to doing something that he loved, and he's still he's coaching and still chairman of TD Ameritrade, but he's pursuing that passion of coaching. It is an amazing story.
The best of all worlds, right?
Yeah, I mean that's really one of my favorites of this year. And then certainly we had Marques Ogden, a buddy, came on a couple of weeks ago. And he's got a phenomenal new book out called Sleepless Nights: The NFL, a Family and a Business, or Business and Family, or something like that. And his story was really awesome as well, as far as the stuff that he went through after retiring and building his business up. Basically losing everything in about a 90-day span with some stuff that fell apart, and then making his comeback now. And his book, I would certainly recommend to anybody to go read it. I finished it a week or two ago. I mean, it was a real quick read. I mean, it's really tough to put down, and it's a amazing book. I mean, what we got out of the interview is just a small portion of what's in the book. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, even Forbes magazine did a story about him, by the way, because it's an incredible rags to riches story, and the bottom line to it is persistence. We just don't give up.
Yeah. And I mean the comeback, that really, when you read his book, you can feel the emotion and the stuff that he's going through during that time. Because I mean, there's some of us have been through it, through situations like that of really stuff just falling apart around us, feeling like a failure, and then at that point it's like, okay, do you give up and just lay here on the ground, or do you get back up? And do you fight and and come back and learn from it, and then say, I'm never going back there again?
Mm-hmm. No question about it. I think you're absolutely right, and it's that persistence, that emotional maturity, persistence that played a huge, huge difference. One of my favorite ones, you're going to have to help me with the name. He came from a Caribbean island, an island within an island.
Yes, in fact, I have his book right here. I just got it yesterday. Adonal Foyle. And he's coaching with Golden State now. He was an NBA player for 13 years and wrote this book, Winning the Money Game. And from what I've already read, this should be required reading for certainly every pro athlete, and the NBA certainly should take this advice and say every new NBA player must read this book. But I even think that college players should be reading this. I mean, especially if they're looking into going, to the next level. But even if they're not, I mean, there's some great stuff in here that everybody can use from any walk of life, no matter whether you're making millions of dollars as an athlete or entertainer or whatnot, or if you're, just the average Joe trying to get by.
Yeah, his story is remarkable. I mean, first of all, recruiters finding him in the middle of nowhere in this island is odd. Second of all, he had virtually no basketball experience before then.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. How
Kind of like Kareem, what's his name? Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, and
discovered playing soccer, and anyone that big's got to be able to play basketball with the theory.
You would think. And, Tim Duncan, he was a swimmer. He didn't even start playing basketball till, like, either the end of high school or in college or something. Was really crazy. I mean, he's got a pretty neat story, too. I mean, and then become that good. I mean, that's... You have to have some sort of natural, God-gifted ability and talent, but at the same time, there's a lot of work that goes into it because a lot of people, like Adonal Foyle said when we talked to him, when he first started playing basketball, he was lousy. He was horrible. And a lot of people would just say, I'm not good at this, right off the bat. I tried it, and the first time I tried it, I took my training wheels off my bike and I fell. Well, that's what most people do, and it's the ones who fall and fall and fall, and they keep working at it, and then they become great.
Yep, no question about it. What kind of stories do you have in mind and in line for 2016? I know you were talking about doing a series, and I don't know, what your thoughts were about what the focus of that was going to be.
Yeah, there's still a series on charitable endeavors of athletes and entertainers and people in those areas that a lot of times we may not see. There's also another story that I was trying to get a guest on, for either this week or next week, and we'll see what happens. But there's a situation going on in Missouri, or Missouri, I guess if you're from there, depending on where you live. They have a bill that's been proposed to one of the football teams there wanted to basically strike over some stuff that was going on. So they have proposed this new bill that would say, okay, well, if you are a player, a college player, and you're on scholarship or whatnot, and then you choose to handle something in this situation, if you strike, your scholarship will be revoked. So we're trying to get someone on with a little more background in that to talk to us about that. And then I know we have some stuff we're working on with having the Astros, somebody with the Astros on next year as spring training gets a little closer.
Actually, two interviews that I can think of. One to talk about how deep they went this year, and one with the front office on Moneyball.
Yeah. Well, and there's another one a little more closer to home. Well, actually, Houston's the Astros are pretty close to home too.
Yeah.
But, another close to home story is with the Katy Tigers. I'm working on getting Coach Joseph on for an interview. I was actually over there with my boys just yesterday, and we were picking up our tickets for the state championship game. And one of my old coaches actually coaches at Katy High School now. And in fact, he's been there for several years. His first year was actually when Andy Dalton, I believe, was a senior over there. So we went over there, and he really hooked my boys up. I mean, we got some hats, some Katy stickers, and they got some little footballs and stuff. And we got to kind of tour the whole facility and everything. And so we're working on getting somebody on to talk about their legacy and their the tradition that they've created there. I mean, it's almost expected for them to go to the state championship now, and it's a tall mountain to climb. That was something I was talking with my old coach over there just recently, as far as that expectation and getting back there every single year. It's tough.
Yeah, sometime we ought to work on getting Randy McAvoy on the show actually too. From KPRC. I love what he has done, tracking these people from high school, Andrew Luck and, the people that start here in the Houston area. This place is a factory for athletes.
Yeah, well, Texas in general, I still believe Texas produces all the best athletes, and maybe that's a little biased, but and then certainly a big portion of those come from Houston.
Well, I think there's plenty of evidence to back that up. Chris Kidd, KIDD.com. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be here.
All right. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to have more for you. I do want to remind you that the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. There, keep an eye on the big announcements and for the television show starting in January. Have a great day. Spend it right here on this station.